Let's go across now and speak to Malvinder Singh for a first-hand view of where this Fortis deal is headed with Parkway. Malvinder, afternoon. Thanks for joining in. We heard from Sachindranath early in the day that Fortis will get folded into Ranbaxy. What is the eventual game plan? Assuming that you do manage to get control of Parkway, would you eventually then go on to make an offer for Fortis and try and delist it from India and probably think of merging it with Parkway in Singapore? Is that the blueprint that you're working towards?
Well, we have clearly made our intent clear, where we want to combine Fortis and Parkway into one listed large entity headquartered out of Singapore. And so we would want to keep Parkway as a mothership. And, so Fortis and Parkway will really over a time become one legal entity. And there is huge value, there's huge opportunity for growth between Fortis and Parkway being a single entity, because then we truly have a pan-Asia presence, and it will enable us to continue to work and create value for shareholders in one single entity, which will by far be the largest healthcare entity across Asia.
So what that would mean or require is for Fortis to get taken out of India and to merge with Parkway, because you can't do a cross-border merger between Parkway and Fortis. So if you do get Parkway, manage to get control, you're saying that you will make an open offer, buy out minority shareholders in India, and then look at a listing in Singapore?
No. I'm not going to get into a debate about the structuring of that at this point in time. I think we have very clearly expressed our intent to have the two entities be a single entity, and the single surviving entity would be Parkway as a mother entity. So whichever way the structure happens, whether Parkway owns a majority shareholding in Fortis, or whichever way that evolves, I think that is speculative at this point. But I think our clear intent has been expressed. The way it will happen, the structure in which it will happen, and within the regulatory framework, we will have to work through various options. But I think you need to understand that. Yes.
Sure. No, go ahead.
I think a clear statement has been that it makes sense to create one pan-Asia healthcare entity, and when we do this, we will within this entity have 68 hospitals which are there. We will have over 12,000 beds. We will have the largest number of doctors. We will have over 20,000 employees. We will have close to $1 billion in revenue as it stands today, and 19% EBITDA margin, a market capitalization between Fortis Parkway Life REIT of over $5 billion US. So you are talking about a very substantial, large healthcare business across Asia, where there is no other business like that as a competitor for us within the Asian market, and that scale and size will enable us to grow very substantially into the future. And Fortis by itself, if it remains independent, would not be able to capitalize on this pan-Asia growth. So I think in order to maximize growth and value for shareholders, it's important to create an optimal and a right structure.
Sure. Malvinder, no debate about how you plan to structure it. The only question we are asking is, because your management indicated this in the morning as well, will Fortis be folded into Parkway? Because I imagine your shareholders would be right in asking what the plan is for Fortis itself. Is there an eventual delisting plan for Fortis, or do you see it panning out another way?
I think there are multiple options of how this can pan out, but clearly the intent is to have Parkway as a mother entity, as a mother holding company.
Okay. I'm just going through the shareholding structure as well for Parkway, Malvinder. Fortis holds 25%, Khazana holds 23%, then there's two other entities that hold just under 6%, and then there's others at 33%. Have you reached any understanding with either Khazana or the other two entities that hold about 6% in terms of whether or not they are looking to tender at the price or the renewed price that you have set out?
We have made an offer to all shareholders. It is for shareholders to assess and evaluate the offer and to see whether they want to tender in anything, everything, or part of it. That is really their decision, and we will respect whatever they do.
You've upped the offer from, above Khazana's offer of 3.78 to 3.8. That's a very small incremental increase. Are you open to Khazana, a rebid from Khazana, and the possibility of you having to top that bid again, Malvinder?
I cannot make a comment on them, what they are doing or what they will plan to do. What I can share with you is that we've taken a very clear conscious call. This is a voluntary GO. It is for 100% of the company. It really allows every shareholder to take a decision completely if they want to exit, not exit or partially exit. It gives them the full flexibility. Those who would like to stay on and be a part of the growth story, we would welcome them to be a part of our growth story as we move forward. But for us, the value that we have put at 3.8, I believe is a compelling value, and this is a value for the full company, which is significantly different from what has been there, in the past.
Just one quick question on the funding structure, Malvinder, with specific reference to you and to GIC, because you are the primary contributors to the equity in this deal. How much cash would you as an individual promoter and GIC as a funding partner bring to the table in terms of cash contribution towards this offer?
What we have shared is that the structure that we've created for RHC Healthcare is the family is going to own 51% of that, 49% will be through Fortis Healthcare, and it will be a combination of equity, debt and cash. At this point in time, it would not be appropriate for me to get into details of that, but that's where I would limit my comment.
But a couple of days back, Malvinder, GIC did defer their preferential investment in your company, saying that they want to evaluate, and I'm quoting from their remarks, participation in broader fundraising by Fortis. Is the plan on track to bring GIC in as well in this Fortis Parkway holding in whatever capacity, strategic, financial, etc.?
Whatever we had to say between Fortis and GIC has been said in the press release that we've released. At this point, there is no further comment I would like to add.
Okay. This morning, your management also indicated, Malvinder, that majority of the amount that is payable for this open offer will be by you in a personal capacity, and the rest will be by Fortis. Could you give us a sense of how it breaks up, the $3.2 billion?
No, I'm not going to give a breakup at this point. I think it is too premature to speak about that, because we don't know how much tendering is going to happen by shareholders. Once we know that, then we are adequately covered and comfortably covered from a financing viewpoint. But exactly what amount it is, that is something we will take a call as we get closer to the time.
Just one last question, Malvinder. Are you comfortable with controlling Parkway with Khazana owning 23%, not knowing how much they might acquire going forward from here from any other shareholder? Would such a hostile situation be amenable to you running Parkway in a comfortable way? Because, if they lose out in the race, they would still be owning nearly a quarter of the equity.
I don't know why you're calling the situation to be hostile. I know the capability that Fortis and us as a management team, along with the Parkway management team, bring in. We're completely aligned in the future and the growth that we see in the healthcare business in Asia through Parkway, through Fortis, and we know that we can add value and run the business well, and we are very open to working with every shareholder and any partner which is going to enable us to create value and build business in Asia. I have
a partner who's making a counter offer, Malvinder. That doesn't sound very friendly, but do things still stand at the same deadline? 8 July is by when we will hear a final word from Khazana?
You'll have to ask them what they're going to do. I have great regard and respect for them. I think they're a very respected player. We have a strategic partnership between Parkway and Khazana in Malaysia. I'm very happy to work with them and to work with any other partner as we build our business.
Thanks, Malvinder, for joining in. Appreciate you coming in today with more details on that.